All right, well, let's have a little chat over here. We've got standing by Rye French. Rye, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you,
Yay!
Tammy.
Haven't talked to you in a minute since I deserted you in the ocean, I think.
Exactly. The last time I saw you, you were overboard out of our kayak.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
was unfortunately he was your partner.
Yeah, he was my witness, is what he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Yeah. And I did it again. I did it in Ireland, the same thing. I didn't swim. I know. Why did I go a canoe in the ocean in Ireland? Why? Because it was my daughter's birthday and she wanted to canoe through caves in the Celtic Sea for her birthday. So I said, okay. So we all did it. And it was very, very cool until I couldn't like hold my cookies down anymore. And I had to walk home. It was bad. But it's very similar to our little adventure in Hawaii. Anyway, so Rye, tell folks a little bit about your background, and we're going to talk a little bit about is it water conservation that you concentrate on?
Energy conservation.
Energy, all kinds of energy. Okay, tell folks a little bit about you.
Yes, so I'm the owner of Backfly Energy Consulting, and I focus on buildings using energy more wisely. That's including businesses and multifamily apartment buildings and individual homes. Big focus on heating systems, air conditioning systems, water heating systems,
Oh,
and
interesting.
some other things as well, especially when you get into the bigger buildings, some solar as well. And I've been in this field for 13 years, and I've worked in a diverse kind of set of business types. I worked for local government, worked for a utility, worked for private business, big building owner, and a nonprofit, and now I am my own small business owner.
That's cool. We like small business. We support small business. Are you based out of Colorado?
Yes, based out of Aspen, Colorado.
Okay. And do you go all over or do you just stick with Colorado properties?
Stick with Colorado, yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So what sort of things should we be looking for as far as how to conserve energy? You got any tips for us?
Absolutely. The oftentimes when I tell someone what I do professionally, they say, "Oh, like solar, right?" And I say, "Sure, solar's great. I like solar." But oftentimes focusing on your heating system or air conditioning or water heater is better in terms of you're gonna the energy improvement is going to be better relative to the amount of money you have to spend, right? So like, what's the improvement for the money you're spending? It's going to be better in terms of that, which also equates to, pollution reduction is going to be better per dollar spent. The number of years before you kind of make your money back is better as well. And it's something you have to have anyways, right? So a heating system,
Well,
water.
you need heat, air, and hot water. Yeah, I think you need
Yeah,
all three of those to. So, what sort of things should we do with, like, say, our hot water heater? What should we do with that?
yeah, you can start simple, right? So if you have a utility room and you walk in there and you're looking at your water heater, you usually have two pipes coming out of the top of it.
Mhm.
If at least one of those pipes is not insulated, either it has like a white foam covering around all of it in the room or a black foam covering, you could start there, and that's a do-it-yourself project, right?
Just put insulation around one of those pipes.
Exactly. And put it around the hot one, right? So that's very easy. Feel that hot one, maybe you've got 10 feet of pipe, wrap that up. So that's a really simple example. If you have an old water heater that just like keeps on kicking and you're not having any issues, you could even put a water heater blanket around it. So you
I've
lose
seen those. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So those are kind of the simpler options. And then if you have an older water heater and you're concerned, this thing's might not, especially if it's giving you trouble, but even if it's not, but it's more than, let's say, 15 years old,
Yeah.
really recommend people get proactive on their heating and especially water heating systems, because nobody likes to be without hot water,
Well,
right?
an emergency situation where you got to get it replaced.
Exactly.
So, what's your thought on tankless hot water heaters?
Yeah, that's a great question. And then the nice thing, oh, go ahead.
That's what we have. We have a
Oh, you
tankless water
do?
heater.
You
Okay.
do? I didn't know that, Nance.
Yep.
Yeah.
And is it gas tankless or electric?
I'm going to guess it's gas because I heard electric tankless
That's a
is.
trick question.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke around.
I think it's gas, Nancy French, and the reason I think that is because electric tankless, I'm being told, are worthless. Is that like they're really hard to keep up?
Um,
Hmm.
if you put them in big enough, they have no problem. But big enough equals can equal expensive putting it in. Like you need a new electric panel, or it can equal expensive to operate. So I don't. There's a time and place for tankless. For example, I worked for a ski company that owned all the buildings on a ski mountain, and we had gas tankless water heaters there, and they were great. But
I'm a fan of tankless, but they have to be mounted on an outside wall. And I don't have any outside walls that I can put it on. So
Mine is not mounted on an outside wall.
Where is yours?
It's on the wall that faces it's in the garage on the wall that faces my house, my laundry room.
Would that be considered? I think it's for exhaust, though. Would that be considered an outside wall if it's the garage wall? I don't know that answer.
Yeah, I'll look at it.
It is gas, though.
Well, it's a good thing you got him there. He's going to go have a look-see at it. We expect a full report, okay?
A good option for. Sorry, go ahead.
Can you tell them? I want you to tell them about when you were talking to me about gas stoves and stuff, because I had no idea about that.
Yeah, so anytime you're burning gas, so people call it natural gas, people call it gas, but burning gas in your home or propane, it doesn't get burnt completely. So you have, that's what you have the exhaust pipe for, to get it out of your home, right? So for a gas water heater or a gas furnace, the older inefficient types, or the new ones that are still inefficient, it's not a complete exhaust system, so that can spill over into your homes. You want to have carbon monoxide detectors, things like that. I'll talk about other options. But in terms of Nancy's question about the stove, that's a very common source of a lot of pollution in homes, because if you have a gas stove, a gas oven, at best, you have a hood over that stove, but most people never think to turn it on unless there's smoke.
I know.
But anytime you're cooking with that gas, you should really turn it on, because anytime you're cooking with it, there's some of that pollution coming off, and it has nowhere to go other than just in your home. And especially if you have children or dogs in the home, it's concern, because some of those pollutants are heavier than air, so they drop right down to the floor.
Oh,
Breathing it. So there's a statistic. It's something like your kids are 60% more likely to have asthma if they're in a home with gas cooking.
Isn't that crazy?
So did you know the city of Chicago did a proposal to do away all new construction cannot have gas stoves? Now, I don't think it passed, but it's on the table.
Oh.
And that's becoming, that type of ordinance is becoming more common around the country. Sometimes in terms of cooking, sometimes in terms of water heating and heating your home as well. But the cooking especially, that could be an environmental or energy type proposal, or it could just be a health and safety proposal. So, Chicago might have looked at it as both.
I think the builders are like, I can't sell a house without a gas stove. Everybody wants a gas stove.
So that's why I know a lot about this, because something that projects I've been a part of to kind of do proof of concept and get some confidence going for consumers and contractors is heat pumps for space heating and air conditioning. It's a very efficient source for both. And the technology has advanced greatly in the last 15 years. So you can actually do it in Michigan and Colorado. It's certainly in Illinois and Texas. And then also heat pump water heaters. But for existing homes, I'm not going to push somebody to get rid of their gas stove, because in terms of energy use, it averages like 3% of the home. It's it's not a lot compared to heating and water heating. But for new construction, when people say, okay, I'm bought in, I want to do the heat pump, I want to do the heat pump water heater, but I've got to have my gas stove. I get that. But what we've seen, at least in Aspen, is that induction electric heating has really gained popularity. So it's a big improvement compared to the classic electric.
That's true. I've
Yeah.
not tried induction. I might be able to cook a little something and not burn it on that thing, but I
Right.
don't know, you know?
It's super fast.
Tim, you have gas though, don't you?
Not down here, I don't. Up
In
Chicago, I do. Yeah.
So we talking about electric pumps. So in when we went to college, we had, I mean, not the college, when we moved to O'Fallon, Missouri, we had an electric, not O'Fallon, Missouri. Where did we
Heat
go?
pump?
Oh, I'm sorry, O'Fallon. Yeah, Fallon, Missouri.
You had
They're
electric with a heat pump. Yeah.
And we were the only ones in the whole neighborhood that had it. They talked us into it. Everybody thought we were crazy. You're crazy to get that. And we're like, well, they're saying that's good. It was the best system we've ever had in our house. Our bills were half of what our neighbors were.
Right.
And the main thing that I loved about it, the upstairs, same temp as downstairs. It was, and we had one electric pump for 2,600, I think we were.
Square feet. Yeah. What exactly does a
And it
heat
was
pump do?
even, and nobody's house was like that, huh?
What exactly does a heat pump do? How does it work?
It's an air conditioner that works backwards. So,
Oh, is that right?
yeah, exactly. So it's not, it shouldn't be that scary to homeowners or contractors because
I think that was great.
we have lots of experience with air conditioners, right? It just runs backwards in the winter. But it's super efficient, both at heating and air conditioning. So, you know, your air conditioner in the summer, it uses a refrigerant line, just like your refrigerator, but it's a split system, right? You've got your outdoor air conditioner and then your indoor furnace and air handler. And in the summer, it moves that refrigerant around to put it's really hot on the outside and you blow the fan over it, right? And then on the inside, it's really cold and you blow the air over it. That's how you get your air conditioning. In the winter, it's just reverse. So really hot coil inside and you blow air over it and that's how you get your heat. And then it's even colder outside and it blows that cold air into the winter air.
And they're pretty economical to run. I mean, they're not expensive.
Let's say our bills were half what our neighbors were.
Yeah,
Right.
they're depending on where you live in the country and how much your electricity is and how much your gas is, sometimes you're going to save money. Sometimes you're going to break even. You're pretty much always, you know, other than like Hawaii or something, you're gonna break even or save money. But a big thing that I talk about is predictability, right? Because as we've experienced at different times over the last 15, 20 years, gas prices can fluctuate really quick and really high, right? So a couple of years after COVID, gas went way up. 2008 to 2010, gas went way up.
Yeah.
Electricity rates are really steady. They rise over time, but very predictably. So that's a really nice thing as well, just in terms of budgeting month to month.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan to, it sounds like electric is more efficient. Is that what I'm hearing you say as far as an energy source?
Yeah, it's more efficient. You know, this gets into, you know, the wonky talk, but the efficiency ratings of a heat pump can be 300%. The very best gas furnace might be 96.
Oh, there you go.
And it's just because that refrigeration system kind of creates free energy.
Now, when we had our heat pump, they did warn us. They said if the temperature goes below, I don't know, was it 10 degrees or something like that, and below that or above 100. Well, so we looked at that. We're like, St. Louis doesn't. We hardly have any days like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I assume now that they might be even better with the rating of the extreme temperatures. That's when the heat pump was back at 20. This was, oh my gosh, this was 30 years ago.
Right.
80, 89. How many years ago was
So
that?
what would happen if the temperatures got above or below
It wouldn't be efficient. It wouldn't.
It'd have to work really hard or whatever,
yeah.
but you'd still have heat. You'd still have heat or
Right,
no?
you still have heat, but it's not.
Yeah.
But we never had a problem.
You never had a problem. That's great.
Ever.
And right, because
12 years.
in
so.
Colorado, we can get down to -10, right?
So I don't know if they probably improved that in 30 years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
sure.
the cold climate heat pumps, they call them, you can get that work down to -13, some of them even -26.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, and then you can put in backup systems as well. You can put in a dual fuel system that has gas and electric. So if it's super cold, you can kick on the gas, or it will automatically kick on the gas. But then 90% of the time you're using the electric and you're saving all that energy.
Oh, that's interesting. I never heard of that. Now, is
Yeah.
that only for bigger homes, or you could do that with like, is it way more expensive to do both?
Normal size home, it's going to be more expensive, even if you just put in like a higher efficiency gas furnace, that's more expensive. But yeah, the heat pumps are going to be more expensive. It depends, if your electric panel needs some work as well. But there's a lot of money out there to help you pay for it. The state, your state might have money. At the moment, there's federal tax rebates. Those
Oh,
pay, but your electric utility is the most is most likely around the country going to be the most reliable source to get money, rebate money to pay for this. So I've been involved in projects where we said, okay, we could just put in this standard cheap gas furnace and it's going to cost $5,000, or we could put in this heat pump and it's going to cost 10,000, but we get a $7,000 rebate, right? So you do
see,
that.
They do the
Yeah,
math.
you're spending less money overall
Back in the day.
up front, and you are going to spend less money every month.
I didn't even
More
think
expensive.
about that. And then who knows how numbered those days are of these rebates? Like, who knows? But right now, if somebody was looking at doing something like that, where do they find out about these rebates?
I would, whatever your electric utility is, I would go to their
Oh.
website or just Google search like, PG&E rebates or ComEd rebates, that kind of thing.
And the federal rebates would be on,
The federal rebates, a great website is rewireamerica.org.
okay,
Yeah.
.org.
Yeah.
All right.
I can double check that, but Rewire America, if you Google Rewire America, that website is really great.
There, is this it? It's up on the screen.
There you go. Yeah, that's a great website. And that is starting to even pull in state rebates and utility rebates. So that's a great place to start.
That's fabulous news to look at that kind of stuff. If you're doing a remodel project or you're looking at just replacing or rebuilding, I'd never even thought about the rebate thing. So that's good to know. Good
Yeah.
website to have there.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Nance, you got any other insight for us? We got about 2 minutes remaining in our happy.
Yeah, I could talk a little bit. There's also heat pump water heaters. So it's similar it's kind of like a refrigerator, but for water.
How big are they? Are they big? Do you need an extra closet for them, or are they outside?
That's a great question. They're inside. They might just be maybe 2 feet taller,
Okay.
like fatter, but they are taller. The one complication is like if Scott and Nancy put that in their garage instead, great place to have it, right? Because it's a big garage, there's lots of airflow. If your current water heater's in like a really small closet that only has a water heater in it, that can get complicated. It'll take me more than a minute to explain why, but
Yeah.
but you can get hybrid heat pump water heaters as well. So you don't ever have to worry about not having hot water.
And what do those do? Those heat it up and blow it just like a regular one, like a furnace one.
Yeah. So you got the hot water in the tank, and then it blows just a little bit of cool air out the top.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like your refrigerator, it's cold on the inside, it blows a little bit of warm air out the back or the
Yes.
bottom.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the opposite with the water.
All right. Interesting. Well, thank you for joining us today. Hear that happy music? That means we got to skedaddle. But
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on and educating us all. I learned a lot, and I'm going to go check out rewireamerica.org. And, maybe if listeners have questions, we can still slip them to you later on today or maybe next couple days and see if you got any answers for them, okay?
Sounds good. Thanks.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick break at the bottom of the hour, and we'll be back with a little fun after this. Don't go away.